Good evening. Good evening. Welcome back to We Are Better Together. I'm Deneen.
I'm Sierrah.
And today we're going to talk about love languages part 2, what love really looks like, and take a deeper look into each of the love languages and how they develop and how they show up in relationships and why misunderstandings happen when people express love differently. So Sierra's going to start us off. Well, I guess no. So I just want to welcome everybody back from last week. The people that came back, we got a lot more information to share to you. In part 1, we introduced the 5 love languages and discuss how people often give and receive love differently. And so then Sierra's going to talk about a few things.
So we're really going to focus on some questions to consider. Is like how many people have realized that they weren't speaking their partner's love language, and the idea that love language impact more than romantic relationships. And we're going to do a deep dive in all the love languages that we did like a more broad overview on last week.
Absolutely. So what we're going to start off with a deep dive into words of affirmation, because that's one of the popular ones. I mean, it's big because, on this show, we talk about communication, right? And the words of affirmation is just communicating expression of love through spoken or written word, right? Some of the examples are compliments, encouragement, appreciation, verbal affirmation, verbal affection, and thoughtful text messages, right?
Yes.
So,
you can go.
I'll go. For people with this love language, words are not just words. They carry emotional weight. It's about sincere encouragement, appreciation, gratitude, and affection. Words can build confidence or tear it down. So Sierra's going to tell us what that looks like, what that sounds like.
So what words of affirmation may sound like is I'm proud of you. I appreciate everything you do. You make life better. I believe in you. I love you. Thank you for being there for me. And I think something to those examples really emphasize how words of affirmation is less about someone just it's less about someone just saying nice things to you, and then more so about people having really intentional words for you. You know what I mean? I appreciate everything you do. I'm proud of you. That's very different than just saying it's you're the best. You know what I mean? It has more meaning to it.
Yeah.
And then why they matter. Positive words create emotional safety. They strengthen trust and intimacy, and they help people feel seen, valued, and respected. Encouragement often motivates people more than criticism. I know you and probably the listeners know a lot of people who typically try to motivate with criticism alone, which is wild.
Right. And what that brings us to is what can hurt people with some words of affirmation. So constant criticism, right? Mm-hmm. Sarcasm or insults. People do it a lot. And I know, Sierra, for you, that's sarcasm one,
right? What are you talking about? Yes, and it's one of those things where it's people who are sarcastic like me, we don't realize that people could take it in a negative way. We think it's clear that we're being sarcastic and we're not trying to outright insult people. And honestly, me, I'm gonna speak for me specifically. I'm being sarcastic or kind of jeering people to connect. If I'm not doing that to you, that means I don't like you. So okay. it's kind of a weird thing. That means I'm trying to get close to you and try to get right. Try to show you parts of my personality. If I'm just being a little straight on, that means but it's also a thing where it's you have to realize what people need and what people understand. So yeah, the sarcasm may not work. If someone needs words of affirmation, you coming in making a sly joke or something that's a little more deadpan might not be the best.
Yeah, because they take it to heart. They really do. And sometimes, when people are ignoring your accomplishments, I think I'm guilty of that sometimes because I don't get wild, like
Yeah.
wow. I don't get wild easily. And so
Mhm.
people will share their accomplishments with me. And I'm not going to say the people that I really care about, that's for them, but I'm just talking for regular folks actually will share. And it doesn't really mean a lot to me. And so
Yeah.
I don't make a big deal about, what people are doing because I feel
Mhm.
like everybody's doing what they want to do. And so
Yeah.
it just doesn't. So what I do with my close friends is I try to make a point to acknowledge, their accomplishments and the things that they're doing,
Yeah.
or never expressing appreciation. That's one that gets under my skin.
Yeah.
Like I talk about people who don't say thank you, who don't value, who you are and what you contribute to the relationship. That thing right there, that annoys me more than anything. There's nothing that require nothing. I mean, a thank you does not require that much out of you. And people, some people just can't say the word thank you. Some people
No.
can't say appreciate. You say you give some just do something for somebody and they will not say thank you. They'll say something like, I mean, like I have an example for some people, like you give somebody something and you say, "Oh, did you get it?" And they'll say, "Yeah, I got it." That's it. You're thinking, wow, they could say thank you. That would be nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of those things.
Well, what is it called? People who they expect people to just do things for them. Like what is that word? What type of person is that? Because those are the people who are like,
A
oh,
taker,
a taker, or someone who is just like not really selfish, but like
needy,
it's
dependent,
gonna come to me. It'll come to me later. But there's definitely a word.
entitled.
Entitled is one of the words. Like I've definitely seen that. Like, oh, someone brings you like at work someone brings you a card for your birthday and they're just like, that's what they should have done.
Right,
So
right,
it's just
right.
like, you can just give out some some appreciation for even things you don't even care about. I
Yeah,
think
just
that's also like where I would struggle with it when I don't and then I think a lot of people struggle with it that way. It's when it's something that doesn't really matter to you or mean anything to you. You might like, even if you like someone gives you a card, because I don't care about cards. Someone gives me a card, I might come in a little under. I'd be like, oh, thanks. And
yeah,
that
yeah.
seems like a little like, wait, did they actually like it? Do they actually care? So I think that's where people struggle with that. If it's something you don't necessarily value, but it doesn't really matter. It's more just like about making, the person put the effort in so that you care about someone putting effort in or something.
Yes, showing appreciation is not about how you feel. Showing appreciation is about you expressing your appreciation for them
Yes.
for them being considerate. So it can't be, oh well, I didn't if you didn't like something that somebody gave you, that doesn't mean you shouldn't even say thank you or say I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You should just acknowledge the gesture for sure. And that's what
Yeah.
we want to remind people that, and not it just acknowledge the gesture. That's all you have to do. Don't disregard people's efforts for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sierra, you want to do I'll do this. Examples in romantic relationships is leaving love notes,
Mm-hmm.
husbands and wives sending encouraging texts throughout the day, which I think is a good idea. You don't have to call them at work. Just send a little text. Compliment your partner regularly. And what complimenting your partner regularly is not about love bombing. What it is, it's about acknowledging, it's about being attentive, recognizing who they are, and what they're doing. That's what complimenting your partner regularly means. It's real. It can't be, you know,
Yes.
far fetched or, going too far. I mean, if you just met somebody, right, Sierra, if you just met somebody last week,
Yeah.
you shouldn't be moving in with them.
No, no. And you shouldn't be saying I love you. I
Right.
think that's a big one. I think people get really caught up in just saying the most outlandish, far-fetched
Mm-hmm.
affirmations they possibly can immediately. Either one, because they're trying to get something out of somebody, or two, because they're just irresponsible with their words.
Yeah,
And
I think
neither.
that's big. That's big right there, Sierra, being irresponsible with your words. Because a lot of times people are what do you call it? Parroting.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying what they heard somebody say, and they
Yeah.
think it's the thing to say, and
Mm-hmm.
they're not putting it in the proper context. Because if I met you last week, you should not be talking about, what you would love in a marriage.
No.
You should not be talking about, oh man, when I get married, blah blah blah. Oh, I want to do this thing, and start thinking of talking about, futuristic things. But because you've heard other people talking about it, things like that, a lot of times people will be talking about those things. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, parroting it can be a problem with words of affirmation, because people think they're supposed to say things that they've heard other people say, and they're not there yet. So be
Yeah.
very careful about that.
And I will say, I think that like this love language, at least for me, is when I don't like, I struggle with words of affirmation. So I have to make real intent to compliment and, say how much I appreciate. So I'm constantly trying to make sure I'm doing that. Like the idea of like these, like saying, leaving a love note is probably the most far-fetched thing that could ever happen to me or something I could ever do. If I'm leaving a love note, if someone tells you that I left a love note, check on me. I think there's some hypnosis going on. There's something wild that's happening, because that is so far fetched out of my mind. Thing is, I know people who literally like their partner leaves them poems around the house, and they're like, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, that would be insane to me.
I love that. I expect my mate to do that.
Yeah,
I want to see some notes. I want to see something in writing. I love cards. And here's an example of words of affirmation. One of the things that I love, and I don't know where I got it from, but I love cards. Like, I am that girl. Like, you don't have to spend $5, $8, $10 on a card, but make your own card, whatever. I like to see words written down, right? And so my husband was in the military, and so he knew I love cards, so he would always give me cards. I keep all my cards. Well, when he got I think he went on TDY or something for a month or something like that. I sent all his cards that he gave to me back to him with words on it, and he thought that was the greatest thing ever. I just loved it, and I was like, see what I did with your cards, and he loved it too. So yeah, I'm definitely that girl. I love written word. But another thing that we were just talking about this earlier before we came on, acknowledgement, public acknowledgement of their strengths when it's appropriate. And in this day and age, because everything's about social media, public acknowledgement of, the relationship. So
yeah.
I'm not saying, well, I was in a relationship for about, 18 months or so. It probably was 6 months, but it lasted too long. But anyway, and I never posted ever. I'm not posting relationships on social media, because it's a record of things, right? So unless I have like a formal commitment in a relationship, talking about we're engaged, I don't see a point of putting pictures of people on social media. I just feel like that's a private thing, and when you want to go public is when you have decided that you're going to get married or get engaged. So that's just my thought process.
But the issue is there's people who will say I love you like 2 weeks in, but not post you on their social media. So that's where things are getting confusing. People are like, wait, didn't you say you love me and I want you to be the mother of my children? But it's like, oh, can you like post a photo of us at that wedding? No.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Because I actually did that guy was like, oh, you haven't posted anything. No, I haven't. I'm not going to do this. So
part of it is like, you won't post stuff because you're embarrassed to be seen with them. I'm going to say it.
Okay, that might be it too. But I do think just as a rule of thumb for ladies and gents, take your time on the social media public display of relationships. Take your time. It's a private thing for you. Take your time on it. I'm talking on both ways. If he ain't posting you, you don't need to be posting him. Y'all don't need to do that. Just stay off of that for a little while and just kind of see what's going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
anyway, so I guess I wanted to I'll talk about words of affirmation when we're talking about parenting. So, praise the kids' efforts, not just their results.
Mm-hmm.
Although I am a parent that everybody don't get no participation trophy. I'm not
No.
doing that. I'm not doing that. But I do think we need to praise their efforts in measuring it based on who they are. So if you know that your child has done their best, gave their best effort, you need to
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge that. You need to let them know. And if they haven't, you need to let them know, okay, there's room for improvement, but just acknowledge that effort for sure.
I
You know,
think the effort, like praising the effort, is not necessarily like a scenario where they, it's like, okay, if they played on the soccer team, okay, let's talk about soccer. The World Cup is happening. If they played on a soccer team, it's like them like coming to you and saying, I want to join the team, I want to play. Like that's effort. Like they could sit on the couch, they can be on their phone, they could be, they can not commit to the team. So it's like you shouldn't just only give them praise if they're the MVP
yeah,
of the
yeah.
team. Like it can't just be like, oh no, unless you score all the goals and you're the team captain and this, that, and the third, then you get praise. It could be like, oh, good for you for wanting to go out and try something. Because
Well, yeah, and there's so much
you're not going to be the best. You're not going to be, So I think that's what
always.
the effort part is, more so about that. Even though it's like I do agree on the participation trophy. Like one person, we don't need to be giving out a participation trophy, but like at home or like even when the team doesn't win the championship, the coach is still like, oh, good job, it was a good season. That's
Right.
praising effort. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think also there's so much more to sports than just the actual act of it.
Yes.
That's being a good teammate, being
Mm-hmm.
committed to something,
Yes.
learning something new, all those different things. So there are a lot of things with that. So just really just giving encouragement, encouraging your kids to learn new things and to try new things. I think that's an important part of parenting, making
Yeah.
sure that your kids are exposed to as many things as possible because you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what their thing is going to be. You think you do. You
Yes.
think, oh yes, I always knew that Joey was going to be a race car driver. That's because you pushed it. You pushed it. You had, you did everything for that. You encouraged that. But he could also be a writer. He could also be a doctor. You just don't know. So you have to try to expose them to as many things.
And it's like discouraging, only encouraging when they're like an expert at something. And then like maybe like giving no praise or even negative like criticism when they're not perfect at something would discourage them from doing something else. They'd be like, oh, unless I'm like perfect or unless I'm like the best at it, I shouldn't do it at all, which is not a good precedent to start because you should be able to try anything. Like who cares? Like people do karaoke because they can't sing every day.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's part of it.
I think it's important as a parent to make sure that after any failure that you're having some kind of dialogue with them. Talk to them about, the effort is the first thing. Talk to them about, is this something that you want to continue to do? Give them options. And also it's a great time for you to share some of your failures with them that took you to a new place, right? Because a lot of times when we fail or things don't go the way we plan, we go to a different path, right? And we go to a better path. So we have to remember to remind our kids that, failure doesn't necessarily mean that you're not worthy of something. Sometimes it's putting you into the direction that's going to even be better for you sometimes. So, but also, I mean, this is a thing that I think for I guess for our boys and girls, let them hear you say I love you often.
Mm-hmm.
Often.
Yes.
Let them hear you say I love you, love you often. As much as you possibly can. Let them know that I love you, or I'm thinking about you. You need to make sure that they hear some verbal positive, feedback as much as possible. So
Okay. And then for friendships, it's about like celebrating milestones, speaking life into your friends during difficult seasons, letting them know why you value their friendship. I think letting them know why you value their friendship, I think that's a difficult one. I don't think we all, in the day-to-day of interacting with like friends, even friends you've had for like a decade plus, like the amount of time you actually really sit down with them and say, you know, how much you value them or how they've helped you out or stood by you during difficult times. Like that's definitely something I could do more. I mean, celebrating milestones, things like that. You know, your friend gets a new job, like say something nice. You don't got to, you know, oh, good job, congratulations. You don't have to be like, finally, it's about time. Like you don't got to do that.
Or even or start comparisons. Don't start in friendships. Do not do the comparison game.
No.
Do not try to one up them. Do not every time, because I mean I really am guilty of that, and I'm guilty of it not because I want to one up you, but I'm guilty of it in trying to connect with you. That's another thing. So when somebody tells me, oh, I went this place, I want to share where I want to say, oh yeah, I went there, and you remember da 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 da. So what I have learned is that when somebody is telling me something, hear them out first.
Yeah.
Let them give you what they want to give you first, and then you can share your piece. But let people have their moment, right?
Yeah. But I think like you said, I think that is a part of like you just trying to connect with people. It's less you trying to one up and more you trying to connect. So as long as you just don't completely turn it into your trip, like, you know what I mean? If someone's like, oh, I went to Mexico City. If someone's like, oh, I'm going to Mexico City, I don't need to be like, oh, I've been there. Let me show you all my photos while I was there and like all the things I did and look at me and my friends and this is how long we were there. And then comparing like the hotel you're going to be at and the hotel they're going to be at, like that does not need to happen. It could just be like, oh, I've been there. I had a great time. Let me know if you'd like some recommendations.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So so just trying to be, letting people know that you're a resource as opposed to, again, take over their moment. Let people have their moment. Yeah. Friends appreciate that. Friends are calling you and they're calling you because they want to share something with you. They want to be heard. So yeah, let people have their moment. That's what I would say for sure. And then at work, right, Sierrah?
Yeah, it's like at work, it's like recognize coworkers for a job well done. Thank people specifically for their contributions. Encourage team members when they're facing challenges. I think this is something I've heard a lot more recently is people thanking people for like contributions or information they gave them. I've heard that a lot more recently than I did at prior jobs. I only kind of felt like I heard like job well done during like evaluations. Right. Or like maybe after like a large project, maybe someone would say something. But I think you can do it in like day-to-day meetings and like, just, and it's also like just saying people's name during a meeting, just being like, oh, I'm working with Bob. Bob helped me with this. Bob told me where to find this. Like that little stuff, I think goes a long way and people want to help you more because they feel like you're taking them from, you're like giving them like validation or like, big upping them.
No, that's really good too, because I have a team and we're remote. And so I don't see them every day, but we do Teams things. And so in the chat, I put their names in there. Anytime they do anything extra, I thank them and with the group, I said, oh, thank you for that. Oh, thank you for this. And, and I remind them that I really appreciate, the extra, or even not even the extra, the excellence that they perform. I love that. And so I try to do that a lot. I feel like you have to do that more when you're remote.
100%.
Because you want to stay connected to your team. I mean, we do like a weekly meeting or something, and I just go around just every week and just kind of say, okay, what's going on, so that I can stay connected with them. So I think at work, you definitely need to try to stay connected to your coworkers and, your team.
Yeah. You're 100% right with the remote work aspect. It's similar to like a long distance relationship where you don't have the physicality, the words have to be more locked in.
Yes.
And I think that's why a lot of people don't want to do long distance relationships, because they rather just rely on the physical. Same thing with remote work. They rather just, instead of having to check in on their employees via Teams,
Right.
whatever. They prefer just to like see them at their desk. They can just look at them. Oh, they're here. Work's happening, right? Like that's what they prefer. So that's what's going on.
Yeah, no, absolutely on that. There's with the words of affirmation, there's a couple of biblical scriptures because we have a biblical scripture with our podcast Better Together is iron sharpens iron, right? So there's a couple scriptures I wanted to just highlight. One was Proverbs 16:24. It says, "Gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and healthy to the body." Just trying to say that, just being kind. People really appreciate that. It makes people feel good. And then Ephesians 4:29, speak words that build others up according to their needs. So build people up based on what they need, right?
Yes.
So that means you need to be attentive. You need to know your friends. You need to know, what people need, listen to what people are saying. So that was another one. And then the last one is Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. So be very careful about the words that you are putting out there because you can't take them back. It goes back to like in the courtroom, those lawyers, they will say something and they know the judge it's going to be objected. They know the judge is not going to accept it, but it's already been said. The damage has been done, right?
The jury has heard it and they've already taken that into account. It doesn't matter that you strike it from the record.
Right. So be really careful about, the words. I mean, and just take your time. You don't have to be so quick. That's another scripture. Don't be quick to speak. Be slow to speak and quick to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So, and next thing we're going to focus on today is like the common misunderstandings that come from these people having different love languages or not understanding people's love languages. So an example is some people may think they should already know I love them. Like I don't have to tell them. I've said it one time. I said I love you last week. That should carry through months.
It should be enough.
Like that. I think that's like a really common thing. I think a lot of people are like, I don't, it's like they should already know. Of course I do. Of course I do. I'm here.
Right.
But for someone whose love language is words of affirmation, hearing it really matters. A question is like, why do some people struggle to verbalize their feelings even when they feel them deeply? And this is something I definitely struggle with. And an answer that could be like, it's rooted in upbringing, culture, generational patterns. Like people from an older generation just might be a little less vocal about their feelings because it wasn't prioritized as much as it is today. Fear of judgment, vulnerability, or making things worse are some of the most frequent reasons people hold back emotionally. It could be trauma. I mean, everyone has some type of trauma, which could lead them to be a little less vocal about how they're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing to bring up is that suppressing emotions doesn't make them disappear. Over time, blotting feelings can contribute to anxiety. And that's 100% true. Getting things off your chest is huge. It is better to just say it. And that's what a friend of mine said. It's like, it's better to just say what you're thinking or what you're feeling instead of sitting around trying to make it sound trying to worry about making it sound the best it possibly can. Like trying to like, give yourself notes and rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it. And then you never saying it. It's useless until it's said. It doesn't matter. So it's like opening up doesn't have to start with big conversations. It could be journaling and things like that. I mean, an option, which I don't know if it's toxic or not, is to put your thoughts in ChatGPT. I don't know.
Your buddy. Your buddy. It's a buddy system, right?
Maybe, yeah. Because people have a hard time journaling, but people seem real comfortable giving it into that ChatGPT to train the model to get some information back. So I mean, whatever works. I think journaling, put in the ChatGPT, seeing what information it gives you back, getting it off your chest in some way is always good.
I guess the question is now, do you feel is words of affirmation one of your love languages, Sierrah?
I no. Well, okay. Here's the thing. It's like I don't know if everyone's on here. It's like you can go online, you can take the test, and it'll tell you how because we all need all the love languages,
Right.
to a certain extent. It's just how much we need each and in what order
Right.
that it falls.
Which
So
one is more? Right.
I'm not a person who gives out words of affirmation.
That's good. That's good. That's good
but
because
I need words of affirmation more than I give it out, which
love
is
that.
very selfish of me.
Hypocrite. Well, you know what though? I feel like most of us are hypocrites in some form or fashion, because a lot of times, I mean, that's where that little thing came from a long time ago. Do as I say, not as I do. Because I mean, we're more likely to be able to tell somebody something than we are to do it. And that's why you'll see, okay, for example, you'll see the counselors. A lot of their lives are like in shambles.
Yeah.
But they can tell you everything that you need to know to get your life right. Right? Or you'll see, you're in the hospital, you see nurses will take care of you. They will do everything that they possibly can to make sure that you are taken care of, but they're not taking care of themselves.
Yes.
So we're all a little bit.
The thing is, it's like in the reason it's like, I'm not going to say like words of affirmation is not high. It's definitely one of my lower ones, but because to me, words don't mean anything. Like you can literally say anything you want to anyone at any time, and then change the words in 5 seconds. It means nothing to me. But in a relationship, whether it's friendship, whether it's like a relationship, you need a little bit of something. I need a little sprinkle of, okay, good job. Okay, I'm into it. Okay, cool. Like I need a little bit of that.
Everybody needs some appreciation for sure. And everybody needs appreciation, and everybody needs to know that you care. So I think that's important. So I guess the next one that we're going to do is to dive into the acts of service, Sierrah.
Yes.
This is your favorite. This is
one
your
of my favorite one. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. So, acts of service is really about love and action. It's like when actions speak louder than words. That's 100% how I feel about it. For some people, love isn't just something they hear, it's something they experience through helpful actions. It's about intentionality, making someone else's life easier. The message behind every act is, I see your needs and I care enough to help. I think that's a really big thing. And I think acts of service requires a lot of somebody. It requires you like either asking what someone needs or just paying attention for what someone needs, and making the conscious decision to possibly inconvenience yourself to fulfill those needs. And that's a lot.
No, I think it is a lot, but I also think that we need to pick right. And I said that last week. If we pick right, because if you want somebody that is a doer, somebody that knows how to do stuff, then you need to pick a person that does it. So don't mess with somebody that, don't know how to do nothing. I need a man that knows how to change a tire. I heard something on, I think, was it the Steve Harvey show? I don't know what it was. It was one of those shows. But anyway, so the guy said, no, it was another radio show. But anyway, he said that his daughter called him and said, Dad, I got a flat tire and my boyfriend has never changed the tire before. Now the boyfriend's with him. Her. And she says, can you come and help? And so the question was, as a father, what would you tell them? What would you say about that? And they were saying, would you tell them, get rid of them? Or, what would you do? And I thought, well, somebody was saying it depends on who the person is. If everything else is good about them, and that's the only thing they've never done. But in this day and age, that just seems kind of silly, because all you got to do is Google it, right?
Well, I think there's a difference. I think he just needs to be able to solve the problem. You know what I mean? Like he needs to be able to contact someone who can change the tire.
Roadside assistance.
The bigger red flag there is that he was like, I don't know.
Right. Exactly. That he allowed her to call. Like, I mean, when she said, I'm calling my dad, he should have said, no, we're going to figure this out.
We'll figure it out. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
either like, I'm going to Google how to do it, or, we're going to get a guy to come out here, because like them getting a guy to go out to them to fix the tire is the same as them calling the dad.
Exactly.
Like,
no roadside assistance. I mean, if you know your person.
Yeah, it's just an inconvenience. So it's like, it doesn't necessarily mean like, I think acts of service is not necessarily someone who could like literally physically do the act. It's someone who is like action oriented and a problem solver. They solve problems. They find ways to get things done.
That's good, Sierrah. Problem solver.
Because I'm like, I don't necessarily, it's like, it's like, cleaning. Like if they're not a person who's very clean, they need to hire somebody.
There you go.
They need to, they solve problems. That's what I think it is.
Mm-hmm. So what does that look like?
But there also is an epidemic where no one is able to do anything. Like no one can do anything. The men can't change a tire. They can't change a light bulb. They can't put sheets on the bed. They can't do anything. They can't do it.
The women don't know how to clean the house.
Yeah,
women don't know how to
clean. Women can't cook. No one can do anything. So we all are just gonna have to finance something. So I think the acts of service thing is harder to come by. Like you do speak to a lot of women, they're like, man, I would love a guy who knows how to change a tire and does this and does that. And it's just like, so actually those men who are capable of those things, I would recommend there is a sweet spot for you available.
Yes.
Because if you show up and you say, oh, I can build you a cabinet, women be like, oh my God, really? Like that is something, like I know a lot of guys that I work with, because they do a lot of like architecture things. They are very handy. Like they're people who they can get their hands dirty. They know about cars. They know about like putting together shelves, woodworking, things like that, plumbing. Like they know those things. And I have not encountered men like that in my life. So men like that do exist.
That's nice. That's good. That's good. That gives us hope for sure.
Yeah. So. What it looks like to me, like one of my big things is like, oh, you see, there's my gas tank is empty. Go put gas in my car. You see that my check engine light is on. Go get my car serviced, or give me some information where I can go get it done. Or if I'm talking, I'm talking about an issue I have. Oh, you could use this could fix that. Like I was talking about getting my what's it called? My like registration sticker off my car because I had to change it to the new one. And I was like, man, I can't get the sticker off. It's like industrial adhesive. And then the guy's like, oh, just use some what's it called? WD-40.
WD-40.
Yeah, genius. Immediately, problem solved, fix things, or just go and get some WD-40, go and take it off for me.
Nice.
My car, just a lot of car stuff, honestly, for me.
Yeah, and I think for men though, for acts of service, men want us to solve some problems for them too. Like, I mean, not all men, but a lot of men, they don't want to have to think about what they're going to be eating. They want you to know what they like, and they want you to, have it ready, get it ready, or have it, or not even if you just had it ready, just like you were talking before. Just make sure we have a meal. If you're not a person that cooks, okay, then, but we can still have a meal. I mean, I shouldn't have to, go through a drive-through every day. So, and men don't want to come home. I would say men, but people don't want to have a dirty house.
No.
If you know that you can't clean, you don't like to clean, you're a little messy, then somebody's going to have to pay for somebody to come in and take care of that thing, right? And now some men don't want that. Some men say, "Well, say you just you're lazy." I'm like, okay, you done picked the wrong woman.
Well, also, I mean, I think that means he's broke. I think that's what that is a signal of. Oh, you need to figure it out. We're not paying for something. I'm like, okay. Money's a little tight. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so I do think that relationships are about exchanges. And that's
Mhm,
not we're not just talking about, male female relationships. We're just talking about people in just relationships in general. Where they're exchanges. So I need certain things to make my life easier. You need things to make life easier. Like you said earlier, really acts of service about making somebody's life easier. So what
mhm,
can you do to make your interaction with somebody make their life a little bit easier? I think that's the question.
mhm.
So, and then go ahead. Why it matters.
Okay, so why acts of service matter? It's like the actions demonstrate commitment. I think that's a big one. It's like you're putting in
Mm,
the effort, you're committed to this relationship. We're building you're building me up.
right.
You're that's what it feels like. It feels like someone's like, okay, me doing these things is gonna make her better, make her life easier. We're building a life together. It demonstrates commitment. If they reduce stress and mental load. I mean, a lot of women complain about taking on a lot of the mental load. So anything that can be taken off their plate would be, a great way to like serve acts of service. They communicate partnership instead of keeping a score. Like you said, it's about you doing acts of service for them. They do acts of service for you, and then you're filling in the gaps, and then we're all whole. That's what it is. It's not just like, well, I did the dishes the other day.
Yeah. No keeping score.
When's the last time you did it? You're sitting there tallying. Once you're tallying, you're like in a bad place.
Mm-mm.
Call the relationship therapist. Go.
Just call it, right?
Yeah, just call it. You're cooked. This is bad.
No,
Well, I
absolutely.
did. Well, it's the same thing with paying for stuff. Oh, well, I paid for dinner 3 weeks ago. Oh, I got you a coffee where you didn't buy my coffee. Like that's where you're already in a bad place at that point. Um,
Right.
and they make people feel supported and valued. So I think that's a big part of it. And then what hurts someone with this love language, what language is like broken promises. That is 100%. That is one of my biggest things. I
Mhm.
like if you tell me you are going to do something, you need to do that thing. Um, I don't like if that is one of the biggest red flags for me, and I think that honestly should be a big red flag for anyone, especially when you're dating. When you're friends, like you can definitely be a little more like fluid on that. But like relationships, if someone is not living up to their word, there's nothing else. Like they say, "Oh, I'm gonna help you with this," and then they completely forget all of it, and they just never bring it up to you. That's a huge problem.
No,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
there's
Hmm.
laziness or a lack of effort. I mean, we can obviously see how that would be a problem. Um, Feeling like they have to do everything themselves. No one likes to be in that situation. Like people
Right.
are not in relationships to have to do everything themselves. People are not at work with a team to do everything themselves. So like no one wants to feel like they're in that situation. Or ignoring requests for help. Like
Right.
if someone's asking you, "Oh, I need help. I don't understand this, that, and the third," and you're just like, "Whatever." I'm like, that's gonna be really like hurtful for someone. And yeah, saying you'll do something and never following through. Once again, that's a big thing. And it comes back to being like responsible for your words. If you don't have the time, you're not available to do something, don't say you're going to. Like
Exactly.
that's really it.
No, no, absolutely. I think that, yeah, just yeah. Be
Mhm.
yeah, be careful about what you commit yourself to. And
Yeah.
then when we talk about acts of service in a marriage, right?
Hmm.
Ask, okay, what's one thing I can do today to make your day easier? That's, when you're in marriage, right? Don't wait to be asked to do things. You know something needs to be done, do it, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then small, consistent acts often mean more than the grand gestures. So there's like, little things, constant little things, they make a difference for sure. And
Hmm.
then service should come from love, not obligation,
Hmm.
right? You
Yes.
should not, yeah, you should do it because you want to do it, not because you feel, oh, well, I gotta do the wife stuff. Oh, I
Yeah.
gotta do the husband
Think
stuff.
that's like where the don't wait to be asked thing, those two kind of interplay. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, it makes you feel like, oh, he's only doing these things because he's obligated to, not because he wants to. It's the same with like someone opening the door. If they're opening the door like just because they're obligated to, you're like, well, don't even do it. Like,
Well, that means when they don't feel like it, it's not going to happen. So
yes,
that's what I
exactly.
say. Don't do anything that you don't want to do. Like there's, I think the book that book that says "Let Them." It says
Mhm.
let people do what they prefer to do. If they prefer to do something, yeah, let them do it. That means you don't need to coach people to do things. Let them do
And
what they
that
want to do.
and that's why and then people have a clear understanding and they understand the footing you're on and what's going on, where there's a lot of people who are just pretending to want to do things and doing things out of obligations and doing things they don't want to do, and then they wake up and they're like, wait, what happened? It's like, well, they were faking it the whole time. So at
So
least like if you're just being clear about what you will, won't do, what you want and need, like there's like less misunderstanding
no,
or
it's
less.
true. I mean, well, that goes back to being authentic, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we were talking about how, you know, you were saying that girl, she's trying to learn every possible thing that she
Mm-hmm.
can so that she can, you know, when she meets somebody, she can, you know, they can be compatible. Where you're
Yeah.
not going to be compatible because you know a thing or two about something. You're going to be compatible because you're being your authentic self. That's really
Yes.
what that is, right? So then when you're talking about acts of service for parenting, right? Teach your children that helping is an expression of love,
Mm-hmm.
right? So not, and it's not an obligation, it's an expression of love. You know, we're helping. Let children serve others through age appropriate chores. They shouldn't be doing everything, but they should be doing some things. I think I was reading something recently and it said that we should try to allow our children to do everything that they can,
Mm.
right? If they can do it, let them do it. You don't need to be coddling them. You know, give them a chance to start being more independent. I think one of the things that they said, which I think was great, they said, "Your room is your first apartment.
Yes.
How you manage your room, that's probably how you're gonna manage your apartment,
And I'm
right?"
still struggling.
You feel funny. Not when I'm around, that's for sure. But that's good stuff. So I mean, so
Struggling does not mean it's not being done. Struggling means it's taking an effort.
right. And that's true. That is absolutely true. I'm glad you said that. Struggling does not mean that it's not happening. It just means that it takes more effort. That's very
Yes.
nicely said, Sierra, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then model serving your family without complaining. So when you're doing things, how are you doing? Be a cheerful giver, right?
Yes.
Cheerful about what you're doing. Oh, I gotta do. No, I had my nieces here last week for seven days, y'all. And let me just tell you this. I had no idea all the energy that it took to just be around young people. Oh, it was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of energy. Oh my goodness. I don't know how I listen. Shout out to all the mothers and fathers who are raising their children. I don't know how y'all do it in this day and age. So I'm happy to not have to do that all the time. So yeah. And yeah, learn with your children. Teach your children. Learn from your children as well. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, and then I think one last thing I would say is explain that serving isn't weakness. It's
Mm-hmm.
kindness and it's responsibility,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So talk about the friendships.
Okay. Yeah. So for friendships, it could be bringing them a meal when they're sick, helping someone move. I'm very into that. I'm going to be moving soon, and I'm going to be bringing people up. Um, watching a friend's child during an emergency, like that's a really big one, because people need help with childcare, just like you said. Um,
Yeah.
Bring practical help instead of simply saying, "Let me know if you need anything." We all know that's a throwaway. We all know it means do not contact me.
Exactly.
That's what that means. That means.
Oh, that's funny.
And then at work, it's like helping a teammate who's overwhelmed, mentoring a new employee, and like you said, cheerfully mentoring. I mean, it goes such a long way. Like the change in my work life from when before people took me under their wing to after is night and day.
Right.
It's literally night and day, and it doesn't take too much out of you.
Right.
It does not take as much out of you as you think it possibly would. So highly recommend it. Um, Volunteer for tasks when appropriate, and be known as someone who serves rather than seeks recognition. That's a big one.
No, absolutely. Shout out to those mentors. I'm right, right.
Yes.
Shout
Yes.
out to them. They make all the difference. I mean, mentoring somebody makes all the difference in someone's life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Take a young person under your wing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then having healthy boundaries, right? Acts of service should be given freely, not used to manipulate, right? Because a lot of people will do
Mhm.
things with some unreasonable expectations, right?
Yes, 100%. People are like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this thing," and then they're gonna think they have to do this thing I'm gonna ask for later, or they're gonna think that I like them more than I do because I'm doing this act, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like authenticity, and also don't try to manipulate everyone. Maybe
Right.
don't. Let's do less manipulating everybody.
Yeah. Well, let's be authentic, right? And let's just come from a real place, right? That's
Yeah.
that's that's how we should do
Or
it.
don't be selfish. I think that's what the manipulation thing is. People are just very selfish and they're trying to get what they want as fast as possible. Um,
Oh yeah, no, it's true. That's where that love bombing comes in. Love bombing
yes.
comes in.
Yeah.
They're love bombing because they are trying to they're trying to put you in a place, make you think you're in a place that you're not,
Yes.
so that they can get the benefits of being in that space that you're not. So
Yep.
be careful.
Yeah.
Right. And then serving others doesn't mean neglecting yourself, right?
Mhm.
Not neglecting your health or your own well-being. That's why I was talking about nurses. A lot of nurses, they take care of everybody except themselves. So no, we don't want to do that either. And then we
Mhm.
also want to appreciate acts of service instead of expecting them. Appreciate
Yeah.
them, expect them. You don't have to expect those things. You should when somebody does something, whatever it is, oh, thank you. You
Mhm.
get to a point where when you're fixing dinner every day, you fix dinner every day. Now all of a sudden, the kids and your whoever else you're feeding, they don't even say thank you anymore. Where's dinner?
Mhm.
Right?
Yes.
Or you do the laundry, you fold up all the clothes, you put them all away, and instead of somebody saying, "Oh man, thanks for doing my laundry," "Oh, I can't find my socks." You put them in the
Mhm.
wrong drawer. You fold them, stuff like that. So just don't get to a sense of entitlement or taking people for granted or taking actions for granted. I think that's
Mhm.
important. So I think
Mhm.
so. I think we're gonna get to our next one. Sierra is receiving gifts.
Okay, receiving gifts. People, this one also is pretty low for me. I think this is probably my lowest one. This is probably my lowest one. Like gifts are just like it's just not something I care about in the
Mm.
slightest. And also, I'm not gonna get. I don't know when I gave someone a gift last. Well, I give you a gift.
You always give
And
me
it was
gifts.
a good gift, but I'm not someone who's just like actively being like, I'm gonna get every single person I know a gift because people do that all the time. But so receiving gifts is about thoughtfulness, not materialism. It's not about the price tag. It's about being remembered, and that's a huge thing. It's about consideration. Like I know people because it's just like just getting someone just a random thing is not what this love language is about. It's about like thinking, here, listening, or seeing what people want and need, or something that reminds you of a time with them that has like some type of memory involved, and getting a gift that is like tied to that. That's really what it's about.
Mm.
um this love language is about feeling loved through thoughtful gifts. The value isn't in the cost, it's the meaning behind the gifts, like I was just saying. And um and it really signals that I was thinking about you even when you weren't with me, and I think
Yeah.
that's a big thing. That's a big thing.
Yeah, no, I think so. I do think so. I think it looks like a lot of things. You just need to find out who you're dealing with because some people like some things, some people don't. I mean, some people like flowers, some people don't like flowers, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
people like chocolate, some people don't like chocolate, right? Some people like handwritten notes, some people don't like handwritten notes. Somebody might want you to leave a voicemail. Some people
Mm-hmm.
don't want extra. Some people want a souvenir from every trip. Some people don't want any more junk.
Yes.
Right. Most people now, this is the one thing for me, birthdays, my birthday is my day. And I love to be acknowledged on my birthday. I feel like that's the only day that I get to get celebrated by me. So
Mm-hmm.
birthday, that's very important to me. So I think that, just acknowledge people's birthday, anniversaries, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Homemade gifts are good. They're only good though if it's something that's useful to you.
Yes.
Making, you doing all your little handicraft stuff. Uh, as much as people appreciate the
Okay.
effort, a lot of people don't necessarily. It doesn't necessarily fit with their decor.
But but thing is, what if it's thoughtful? What if it's just like some macrame nonsense that's very thoughtful and has like a story behind it? You know what I mean? Like they put effort into it's about the effort
No,
they
no,
put in.
no. I agree. I do agree with that because my sister actually, like, she made me some things. Like when I got married, she had my thing on it. I love those things. I do love that, but everybody doesn't want it. You know.
No, but that's where this gets like weird because like someone who shows love through gifts, it's not really about the person who's getting the gift. It's
Either.
about them being able to put the effort in and like, oh man, look at this nice this thing I thought about. And the person receiving it, even if they're not necessarily a person who likes receiving gifts, like in order to solve their love language, they have to
They
receive the
need to
gift
acknowledge. They need to
in
acknowledge the
in a
effort.
grateful way. So it's like it's a weird thing, and that's something I've kind of accepted once I realized, oh, okay, people giving you gifts is not typically all about them thinking you want something, and more about
Mhm.
them just wanting to let you know they're thinking about you, and that
Mhm.
is fine, and it doesn't really matter what the gift is, and I'll just take it and call it a day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then why it matters, gifts become tangible reminders of love, right? They
Mm-hmm.
often create lasting memories. Thoughtfulness matters more than expense. Remember that. And the best gifts show that you know the person well. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
that. I think that's good to know. But also remember that it can hurt people, forgetting people's birthdays and
Yep.
anniversaries, right? Giving gifts with no thought or effort. People are like,
Mm-hmm.
what? What is this? Saying gifts are a waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
And never celebrating important milestones. I think that's another one.
Getting the birthdays and anniversaries, that's a big dinger. People
Yeah.
do not you remember people's birthdays. Put the little notification up. I'm guilty of this. I'd be forgetting birthdays. And
Mhm.
then anniversaries, I can only imagine.
Well, yeah. And then look, surprise your spouse occasionally. Remember important days. Listen throughout the year for gift ideas. Don't wait till last minute. And the best gifts often reflect careful attention, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're
Yep.
gonna go down. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the last one so we can quality time is gonna be the last one, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Sierra.
Okay, so quality time means feeling love through attention and presence. The greatest gift you can give is undivided attention. And I know this is a tough one for people. People are busy, especially when you get older. Your life is, you get caught up in your own life. They get caught up in theirs. So it is hard to like really sit down and give someone that undivided attention. Um, what is quality time? Quality time means giving someone your full attention. It's not simply being in the same room, it's being fully present. I mean, you'll see that all the time. People are like been married for 40 years and they haven't even been in the same room for like 3 weeks.
Right.
Um, and then presence often communicates love with more powerfully than presence. So presence versus presence.
Yeah.
Hard to
Yeah.
see. It's hard for me to
Yeah.
say hard to see. I'm from Arizona. The uh and then what quality time looks like: having dinner without phones. Everybody put your phone down at dinner. We don't need our phone out at dinner. Girls, if
That's
you're
good.
going on dates, don't have your phone out on the date. Like, don't have your phone out on the date unless you're planning to leave immediately and you're calling an Uber. Then you should not have your phone out. Um, Taking a walk together. Also, taking a walk together is not a first date, guys. That's not a first date. Then going on a date, exactly. Going on a real date, long conversations, playing games together, traveling, sitting together, and simply talking, like just having quality time with people. And then why it matters. Time is something you can never give back. Exactly. It's, what's it called? It has no value. You know what I mean? It builds emotional intimacy, it strengthens trust and friendship. Shared experiences create lifelong memories. That's true.
Mm-hmm. Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead.
And then what hurt someone with this love language is constant distractions. Yeah, 100%. Because quality time is one of my like ones that is very high up for me. Like if I'm watching a movie with you and you're on your phone,
Right.
or you keep going to the kitchen, you keep trying to do other tasks while we're watching the movie, then it's not quality time anymore. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at your phone while they're talking. I mean, that's rude.
Yes.
Don't do that generally. Canceling plans repeatedly, of course. Once again, these are all things that you just should avoid with friends, relationships, work. Being physically present but emotionally absent. That is a very, very big one. I think there's a lot of people like, oh, they want quality time. Okay, we'll just sit in the same room.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not what that is.
And then in your marriages, you need to schedule a regular date night, eat meals together, make eye contact during conversations. I cannot. That's one of my pet peeves. When I'm talking to you, I need you to look at me. Yeah. Learn to listen without trying to immediately fix problems. Like listen, right? We talk about that all the time. And then with parents, read together, learn together, play together, have one-on-one time with each child, each individual child. Ask meaningful questions about their day. You need to be interested, right? And then, Sierrah, you finish up with friendships.
Okay, yeah. With friendships, it's make time to meet in person or talk, celebrate life's milestones, be fully engaged when you're together. That's really what it's all about.
Exactly. And we kind of went through that really quickly, but I mean, you guys get the gist of it. And so we didn't even talk. Do we have time to do the physical touch a little bit? We forgot about that.
Yeah, we forgot, which is everyone's favorite one.
All the men's favorite one. So give us a few minutes. Irma. We got to talk about physical touch. The men won't be happy. The men are like, what do you mean? Okay.
What do you mean? Yes.
Okay. So let's just go really quickly on. We'll talk about, we know what physical touch is, but why it matters. It matters because healthy touch can strengthen emotional bonds. It can communicate love without saying words. It often helps people feel safe, accepted, and connected. Many people remember how they were comforted through touch during difficult times. And then it can also be harmful, right?
And I mean, something you mentioned is not just about sex or romance. Physical touch is not just that, everybody.
Absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. It can hurt people too. Withholding affection, ladies, don't withhold affection. Rejecting a hug or hand holding without explanation, pulling away, right? Physical distance in the relationship, harsh and aggressive physical behavior, neglecting everyday affection. I mean, those are all bad behavior when we're talking about that. And then here's a couple things you need to do. Greet each other with hugs before talking about day's problems, right? Hold hands while walking and playing or praying together. Definitely praying together. Give a kiss before leaving home every day. Don't miss your kiss. Go get a kiss before they leave and get a kiss when they come back, right? Remember the small, consistent affection often means more than the grand gestures, right? That was another thing that you had to, and then you want to finish up on the friendship, Sierrah.
Let me see. Offer a hug when appropriate. This is a really big thing with me and my friends. I'm trying to be more of a hugger because I'm not naturally a hugger, and neither are my friends. So we're trying to get in there. Celebrate with a high five or fist bump. When appropriate. Be mindful that everyone has different comfort levels with physical touch. I think that's a big one. Because then it's like if someone isn't like an overwhelming physical touch person, just like a hand on the shoulder, like a little something goes a long way. You don't need to go overboard with it. We don't all need to be like jumping on top of each other. Like we said, healthy boundaries, healthy touch is always respected and welcome. Consider consent. Of course, consent is very big. And every person has the right to decide what kind of physical affection they're comfortable with. And learning and respecting each other's boundaries to build.
That's huge right there. And we're going to call it right there. I mean, I feel like we beat it enough. I think you understand what the 5 love languages are about and what you can and should not do to make your interactions better, to make them flow better, make them more genuine. and just have happier, healthier relationships. So that is a wrap for tonight. Remember, we are better
together.
Yes. So we'll see you guys next week. Armand, thank you so much for giving us a few extra minutes. And next week, we're going to be talking about attachment styles, which goes right. I mean, it literally stems right from this. You're gonna want to be there. It's gonna make a difference in your relationship. So we'll see you next week. Same place, same time.
Have a good night.
Good night.